Drew McIntyre just called out Roman Reigns in a big way, so we'll see what he had to say. We'll also check out another update on Vince McMahon, Brock Lesnar, and much more. Let's start things off with another Vince McMahon update. Last time we talked about Vince McMahon, the entire allegation situation was still fresh, and the meaning of him stepping down was still very vague. Vince McMahon announced that he was temporarily stepping down as chairman and CEO of WWE. So a lot of fans were curious about what this actually meant. Was Vince McMahon fully stepping away and removing himself from all WWE operations while this investigation continues to unfold? That's what a lot of fans thought, but apparently that's not the case. Sure, he's not technically the chairman or CEO at this current moment of time, but Vince's role backstage and impact on the WWE television product is not affected at all. Vince McMahon will reportedly continue to still be in full control of the creative direction of WWE. Fightful says that an unnamed superstar reached out to them and reinforced the idea that yes, Vince McMahon is still in control of creative and the entire television operation. So nothing has changed at all from the step down. Another report claims that Vince McMahon was all smiles and business as usual backstage at SmackDown. So yes, technically to the public, it appears like a big change to see Stephanie McMahon filling in for Vince McMahon's position, but in reality, Vince McMahon isn't actually going anywhere. He'll still be running the show and creative throughout the investigation, so nothing is changing right now. McMahon did open up on SmackDown, just said how happy he was to stand before all the fans, talked about the WWE tagline, and left. Everyone thought it was a cheap ratings pull from the second his appearance was announced, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. The ratings did see a massive spike of 30 and 40% among certain demographics. So, in those terms, his appearance did what he probably wanted it to do. It pulled in people. A lot of fans were complaining about Vince's weird SmackDown intro, but like other fans said, what did you really expect him to say? You can't go on national television and share all your thoughts on an investigation that involves yourself. Obviously, you can't do that. But he gave the impression that he would, and basically put fans in a position where you probably felt forced to tune in right at 8 Eastern, when some fans normally wouldn't. So that's the latest on the Vince McMahon situation. Yes, Stephanie is technically in charge, but nothing's changed at all with Vince's creative role. He's still very much in charge and will continue to lead that department. After Brock Lesnar returned to SmackDown, we discussed the idea and possibility that maybe this was not WWE's original intention for Summerslam, but a backup plan. Well, several reports have come out since Brock Lesnar's return that seems to support the same idea. Reports claim that Brock Lesnar's WWE return was something they started working on just 3 weeks before his actual return itself. WWE's investigation with Vince McMahon was already quietly underway back then, and that was already around the same time they received word that Randy Orton would be unavailable for SummerSlam. So a lot of things were going wrong for them, so they started working on that return for Brock Lesnar to basically serve as the light at the end of this tunnel they were in. So Brock came back to generate some buzz and fill in for Randy Orton at SummerSlam. The Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton SummerSlam feud would have been great because it had a lot of build up towards it. Roman Reigns has basically been getting involved in Randy Orton's business since right after WrestleMania. Roman was sending the Usos to Raw to capture those Raw tag team titles, and during the tag team unification match itself, it was Roman himself who cost Randy Orton the unified tag team titles and cheated to win. Then to top all that off, Roman and the Usos were beating Riddle down week after week that Orton wasn't there. So it was perfectly setting up this big clash at SummerSlam between Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. It also would have been great to see Randy Orton in a world title feud. That's something we haven't seen in 2 years. So that was the original SummerSlam 2022 plan. Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. But with Orton being unavailable, Brock was the only fill-in that they turned to. Like we alluded to before in previous discussions about Roman and Brock, There's a lot of fans that are burnt out on this feud. So this SummerSlam feud would need to have some big twists and turns to keep fans really invested in something that they've seen earlier this year and over the past 7 years. Something will have to be new and different about this story in order to keep the interest high. If Roman Reigns can survive Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, then his next opponent would most likely be Drew McIntyre at Clash at the Castle, just over a month after SummerSlam. Drew McIntyre recently appeared on WWE's The Bump. He took a few jabs at Roman Reigns and talked about how WWE needs those world titles back from Roman. Drew McIntyre had this to say about Roman Reigns, quote, "His confidence is at an all-time high. We've always known how good Roman is. He's always been incredible in the ring. He was always holding back in a certain way, and I guess that was his character and who he was outside the ring, because in the end, that's the real Roman. He's all about him or his family, as he claims, but inevitably, he's all about himself. Since he's embraced his true self, he's gone to levels that most of us could never even imagine, so good for him, bad for us. He's got both the titles. He's not on all shows. We need those titles back, and I don't hold it against him. He didn't offer the contract. He signed the contract. So if he's not always there, then that's cool, but we need those titles back. We need somebody to step up. We need someone to take him down." End quote. So Drew is of course speaking in character about Roman Reigns, since he has a good shot at being his next challenger. But Drew did mention a lot of good points that fans have been talking about. Giving both world titles to one person who's not going to be at every premium live event anymore just affects everyone and everything. Raw and SmackDown feel a little bit off at times because there's no world title or main event scene right now. Premium live events don't feel as important at times because there's no world title main event match there anymore. And like fans said, it's not a knock at Roman Reigns at all. He's been full-time in WWE for well over a decade. He deserves a break. But it's just the decision to put both world titles on him that might not have been the brightest idea. It's something that fans are discussing more and more, but if you're going to have an undisputed champion, you sort of need them to appear on both shows, carry both world title scenes, and defend at the premium live events. If that's impossible, maybe it wouldn't have been such a bad idea to split the titles back up again. Give Raw back their WWE title, and let Roman keep doing his thing with the Universal title. With this idea, you wouldn't feel Roman's absence as much because at least there would still be a WWE title match to look forward to from the Raw side. But with both world titles gone on hiatus with Roman, it leaves all the shows with such a big void. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below, don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.